We're here with Towson University President Robert Caret, who has served as president for nearly 8 years now at Towson, who will now be leaving the university to take on a new role as the president of the University of Massachusetts system. So, President Caret, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, given your history in the academia field, coming back here as president after first working up the ranks, starting as lecturer even, what have you enjoyed as your time here as president?
I think the most important thing at Towson is two things. One, in general, are the people. It really is a different kind of campus. It's a campus that really is a family. We have our disagreements, we have our fights, but there's no real significant animosity anywhere on the campus. We have groups of people that just don't talk to each other or don't like each other. And it's a great campus. It's a great place for faculty, staff, and students. I guess from a administrative perspective, the thing I've enjoyed the most is sort of the excitement of the last 8 years and seeing Towson sort of emerge, from its quiet phase into this dynamic, growing institution. And given that was part of my role in doing, I'm very excited about that outcome.
And from where the university was before you became president to now, just take me through the process of your accomplishments, and do you feel like you've accomplished a lot, or is there still a lot more to be done?
Oh, there's still a lot to be done, but we've accomplished a lot. We really had been somewhat of a sleepy campus, done a lot of great things, but not particularly noted or noticed for it, and not getting there for any, not only recognition, but the resources that come with recognition. And so when I came back, we went through a whole series of focus groups and a whole series of plannings about what we wanted the campus to do for the future. And we gave the board really two choices. We could either shrink the campus and just ramp up the quality that way by cutting back the student body so that your SATs go up to 1250 or 1300 and your GPA is a 3.9, or we could have grown. And we felt that the growth model was what was needed by the state, and that we could do it well. And we sold that model. So then when we went to the growth model, then we said to the system and to the board, well, you don't become just a large campus and run as if you're a campus of 1,000. When you become a large campus, in order to maintain a high quality faculty, you need a certain amount of research output, you need a certain amount of self-support dollars that come from either grants and contracts or fundraising or other mechanisms, and we need your support to be able to do that, because in order to do that, we need more faculty, and we need faculty that have a different teaching mix. Some of them, instead of teaching 4 courses a semester, might be teaching 3 or 2 courses a semester because they're doing more research. And we need you to understand that. And we got all of those blessings. We were able to sell the package of what Towson could become as what I like to call the other state university, that other large, public, dynamic campus. And we've done that. We've moved over the last 8 years. We've grown by 4,000 to 5,000 students. All high quality. The SAT and GPAs have really not declined. We've ramped up research grants from $8 million to $32 million. Most of that applied research, which gives us a very unique focus compared to the research ones in the state, which are doing more of the federally funded pure research. We've taken fundraising from $3 million a year to $7 million a year, and almost finished up. We're close to finishing up a $50 million capital campaign. And you put that all together, and the hiring of probably 300 or more faculty, and $1 billion worth of construction, and it's been a pretty interesting 8 years, And yet there's a lot to be done. We're breaking ground on the new basketball arena. As soon as we open the West Village housing this fall, we'll break ground on 2 more housing units. We'll open a garage this fall, and we'll break ground on another garage right after that. So the trend will continue, and we're expanding into the city, as you know, to make this a true college town. Just a lot happening. All of us, including me, the biggest fear is that it's not just because of me. I'm just one person. But you're going to need leadership both at the president's level and everyone below the president that continues that momentum. And the way you continue that is by keeping board support, chancellor's support, governor's support, legislature support, county support to make it happen. And so it's an exciting time, and I hope it continues. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of those things happen.
Yeah. Are you saddened at all seeing how a lot of stuff is still in the process of happening? You've set up this master plan. Much of it won't see in fruition until, you know, years down the road. Does that sadden you at all?
It does. You know, I mean, you'd like to be able to do both things, you know, and I've given some thought. Maybe I could run the campus and be the system head, you know, but because I'd love to be here for the next few years and see a lot of these things open up. And but the kinds of jobs that these are, you take them, if they're the right job for you, you take them when they're open.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, this job, now that I've taken it, I could do it for the next 10 years, you know. And so if somebody's looking to be the head of UMass, they're now saying, well, that's not necessarily going to happen in my lifetime. So you just have to, it's just one of the realities of those kinds of positions.
Mm-hmm. And working so closely with administrators and faculty, what do you have to say about the faculty who go to this institution?
Oh, I think the faculty are great. And I wouldn't just say that. I mean, you know, I think our faculty are faculty who are really expert in what they do, which is what you want first, but truly like teaching. And so they've come to a campus where teaching still is the primary motivator. We are more research intensive, but it's not the primary motivator here. If you can't teach well, you're not gonna get. I don't care how much research you do, you're not gonna be successful here. And who like to be with students, you know. And the faculty here are like that. I mean, they choose to be here. It's not like many of them could be at a research one type environment. They just don't want to be that research intensive. Where you teach one course a semester maybe. They'd like to have more interaction with students. And those of us, and I always loved teaching. Those of us that love teaching, that's the kind of campus you want to be on. So we have it's a great faculty, I think, in all ways, from a research perspective, a teaching perspective, and a community perspective in terms of being involved on the campus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in different ways. Some of them are involved at the departmental level, some at the college level, some at the university level, but I think all of them are heavily involved in the campus itself.
Okay, and what about the students, you know, who will one day call Towson their alma mater?
Right. Well, I love the students. I think one of the things we wanted as we built the place, we knew that the way we were going with highly residential, big-time athletics, hopefully, you know, with success, big-time successful athletics, and you know, maybe the Greek Village, the town that we have, we were going to attract largely a traditional student-age population. So we're looking at, you know, the majority of our freshmen are the 18, 19-year-old traditional freshmen. The majority of our transfers are the 20 to 21-year-old traditional juniors. And so it's a very traditional campus with all of the traditional, you know, pros and cons, I guess, that happen in campus life. So you have all that goes on in the classroom, all that goes on out of the classroom. I think it's exciting, it's invigorating, it's energizing, and that's what we wanted. When I was at San Jose State, which I also loved, very different campus, non-residential, half the students were traditional age, the other half, 15,000, were non-traditional. And here we're not like that, and so you just have a different feel. And the ones I deal with, you know, mostly are the ones that are involved, whether it's student government or the student newspaper, or you're talking about, you know, maybe athletics or resident life. They're engaged. I mean, you know, you can see it all the time. I mean, there's energy. They're energized. They're looking for new things to do. They want to have an impact. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. So it's a great campus. I mean, just as I say, the faculty, staff, and students all mesh well together, and I think fit well in terms of what we want from each other, what we're looking for. Because you can go to very different campuses. We have very different feels than this. And I was just on one of the campuses in Massachusetts, and I felt the same way because I was with the president, and up there they call it chancellor, but students were coming up and hugging him, you know, and it's a nice feel when the students actually not only know the guy, but feel comfortable enough to come up and hug him. You know what I mean? It's because some campuses, you know, you never see the president, you know, and it's that's, you know, sometimes that's necessary, but it's a challenge.
And being, you know, in the Towson area, what do you have to say about the surrounding area with the university? I mean, there's been some conflict here and there, but how do you feel that the community has dealt with
you know, I think I understand the community issues. I think they just have to understand, you know, we are a college town, and it's not going to change. And so, you know, we've done everything known to humankind that you can do reasonably to mitigate issues, you know, for the neighborhoods. They don't all understand that, but many of them do. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you have 25,000 young people and 3,000 employees coming in every day. There's going to be traffic. There's going to be, sometimes a thing occurs, you know, in terms of drinking or something. That's part of life. And we've mitigated all we can. We have great support from the county government, great support from the business community, and we have good support from the communities around the vast majority don't have any problem with us. They respect what we've done and the impact we have on their area in terms of safety and quality of life. And the ones that do complain, you know, many of the complaints are valid, and we try as best we can to address all of them. You can't be naive and assume, you know, the ones that say you need one bed for every student, you couldn't do that if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. The bonding agencies would never give you the money because they know you'll never fill them, and you're competing with private enterprise, and private enterprise will start undermining you, and all of a sudden you get hundreds of millions of dollars in debt and nobody in the residence halls. So you have to balance how many residence halls you have. So I think, you know, by and large it's gone great. We have our bumps every once in a while, but we are going to continue aggressively to develop with the town of Towson. And I think one of the biggest things, other than athletics, the other biggest thing this campus can do is to really transform this town into a pure, really beautiful college town that's alive. It's sort of like a mini Georgetown. We have small ethnic restaurants and specialty food places that are not particularly expensive that anybody can go to, including students. And if you want an upscale, you know, 4-star restaurant, we have a few of those too. And I think all that's going to happen in the next 8 years. I really do. There's all kind of things in place right now to make that happen.
Well, you know, you still have a few more days left here as president, but do you have any final words to the campus?
Well, I would say, you know, continue to think in an entrepreneurial and innovative way. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day. You know, sometimes people laugh at me, but I say I never let the lack of money be an impediment to a good idea. I've been in a lot of situations where I don't have the resources I need. I still get things done. And so I don't, sometimes you can stifle a place because you say, well, we haven't had a pay raise, or, you know, we haven't been able to hire a faculty member, or we've got too many students in the class, and that's all true. And you can focus on that and get depressed, or you can say, hey, we're going to make it better. And what I hope really, really happens is that the campus just continues the positive momentum and keeps selling itself and keep delivering. And, you know, another 5 years down the road, another 8 years down the road, it's even transformed even more than it has now.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.